Hey everybody, today we're going to be looking at using the delay designer to create a stutter effect. This is one of my favorite delay tools when I get into more complex delays. When I'm using basic delays, I rarely use this for that, but it is possible to use it for anything that you need for delays. So the delay designer, one of the things about this is that you can create pretty much any delay pattern you want. You have things like the ability to change the level, panning, transposition, and you have a filter that's in there as well. So what I'm going to do is just create a little stutter effect on this piano part that we have, and in doing so I'll show you how to use the delay designer a little bit. So the delay's on right now. We're going to adjust that a little bit. So first and foremost, let's make another piano track here. We're going to cut out just one part of this that we want to use for that delay. So maybe the last note here, and then we'll pull this down and open up our mixer. Let's actually pull this over to this track. Okay, now what we have are the first few notes with no delay, and then the last one with some delay. And we're actually going to truncate this so it's just that little first attack part. Now let's come into the delay designer, and what we're going to do is use the grid here to help us repeat that little piano segment at various times. So that's our goal with this, is to get that exactly where we want it for all of that. Okay, so let's start. We can zoom out a little bit with this too. So let's move our A, and this is 16th note. So let's move this to the 8th note position. We'll leave it on 16th. We'll add a couple maybe right there, just so you can hear this. We want to have this selected just for a portion that we want to hear. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what we're doing so far. Let's take this down, though, to 32nd notes. And let's leave it like this for a moment. On the same screen, we have our levels. So I can actually make this go down and then back up if we want to. That adds a little bit more variation. Let's hear this with the whole thing for a moment. So we're going to get rid of that last one. And even that one. We'll add one at the beginning instead. We want that to be more seamless as it's going into the beginning of that loop. And we could even take this further in if we wanted to. The other things we could do are pan these if we wanted to have them go out one way or the other. So this is left and right. Maybe leave that one in the middle. So you get a little bit of left and right movement. We could transpose this if we wanted to. This is an audio file. So it's not MIDI, which means we can't just change the MIDI note up if we wanted to. But if we wanted to maybe make this one go down a little bit. So we have those options there. A ton of things we can do with this. And then cutoff. I do like the cutoff a little bit. What this allows us to do is to really change the overall spectrum content. So maybe we want it to, kind of sound muffled for a moment before it goes back open. And that helps it ring a little bit more with the resonant frequency of this actual filter. So you get the idea how much flexibility we can do with this. And it really does help us or allow us to create some really cool stutter type effects inside Logic. Now, this isn't the traditional way I would create a stutter effect. There are so many other ways to cut and use editing techniques. But this gives us that power to really fine tune and create really cool repetitive type effects. Now, anytime we want to use this, say that the song keeps on going here. So then we have another segment right there. Let's pull just a little bit of this out. Now we're going to pull the whole thing out because I don't want it to be in two places. And then we will trim it down again. And we could, if we wanted to, because this one does, it does have additional parts in there. We could pull that back out up on top. You're coming up with some really cool, interesting rhythmic things and ways to really just warp the original part. I think this is a really great example of this tool in action doing some of the things that it does the very best. So this is just the first in a series that we're starting about delays and reverbs. This is one of my favorite tools, but we're going to look at even some of the ones that are maybe less interesting, but can do some really important things. So keep checking back this week. I think we're planning on doing something on Thursday and then our Friday, Saturday with the new patron thing that we have going on. So check back for those videos. If you have any comments or feedback or whatever, make sure you leave a comment down below and, of course, share and like this video.